So today we are here in China to test drive this car over here, the GWM Tank 300. So it's going to arrive in Malaysia in the next couple of months, definitely in this year, marking the first time that the Tank model has been, the Tank brand actually has been available in Malaysia. So the Tank 300, as you can see, is basically what you get when the Suzuki Jimny, the Mercedes G-Class, and if you're familiar with the Mahindra Thar, well, you will get this car, the Tank 300. If you do not know what the Mahindra Thar is, I suggest that you Google it, then you'll know what I mean. So I've driven it already, and GWM China was very eager to show its off-roading prowess, its off-roading capability, and it's not a bad car at all. I love how refined it is. I like the design of it. It looks very tough, very macho. No denying that fact. And it has some very obvious design language or design hints from other car makers, but that's actually not necessarily a bad thing. It's quite a capable machine, good looking, basically everything that you need. Back here you get this side hinged tailgate. Now this is a very classic Jeep design. All those side hinged tailgates looks very good. It's been basically part of the Jeep design language ever since the world actually got the Jeep. Now I can't find any information on how large the boot space is, but it's obviously good enough. And interestingly, you get a 3-pin plug over here for added convenience. All you camping fans, you would appreciate that. Get a lot of cubby holes here, there. Get a lot of cubby holes and places to hang your stuff. So in that sense, I think it's quite decent. Now let's go jump inside. Hey guys, we all seem to have that one friend that always tells us that all petrols are the same. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. Take BH Petrol's Infinity RON 97 Euro 4M for example. It comes with special German additives that are designed to keep your engine clean by reducing the amount of deposits that build up in your engine over the long term. Besides that, it also has an improved friction modifier that actually reduces the amount of friction that your engine has to go through, which ultimately gives you better mileage, making BH Petrol's Infinity RON 97 Euro 4M the right choice. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Powering the Tank 300 is a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine making about 227 horsepower and about 350 to 380 Newton meters of torque. Power is sent to all 4 wheels via an 8-speed transmission. And one thing that I really appreciate about this powertrain is just how refined it is. As I said earlier, you don't really feel all that vibrations, harshness that usually is transferred back into the interior. Now, excuse how dirty this engine bay looks like. This car has obviously been through its paces, but as far as I'm concerned, I like the refinement, the vibration insulation. You hear it outside, but not inside, and that I really like. One of the things about driving and reviewing cars in China is that you can't really drive on public roads here in China. Our Malaysian licenses are not recognized, and neither are our international driving licenses. So usually when we come for ride and drive events in China, we are confined to obstacle courses or predetermined routes which have been approved. And that's what we're going to do here right now at the GWM obstacle testing course or something like that. Obstacle course here in Baoding. And there's somebody coming. Okay. And yes. Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, and so we are about to take the Tank 300 on an obstacle course. It should be fun. And even though there's not much information provided, but of course did some research and read a bit, and basically the off-roading prowess of the Tank 300 is quite impressive. I've read some reviews coming out of markets like Australia and such. and it looks pretty promising. So let's go find out. So one of the great things about the Tank 300 is, as I've mentioned, is off-roading capability. Now GWM was quite eager to show us how capable it is off-road. And we Malaysians are probably, this is the first time that we're going to experience this, and it's looking quite good, looking quite exciting. But I think the Tank 300 has been tested quite extensively in other markets. And to be honest, we have already went for a test before this, and
现在是一个两拳要踩刹车，这个就是。
So yeah, I've just been told in Mandarin that basically power can be distributed to individual wheels. And now we are going down a bunch of stairs. And one thing that I really like about this car is a feature called the transparent chassis. And this basically shows us how the car is positioned using just cameras. So the cameras are high definition.
OK， 现在咱们就是说可以。
OK, let's go. Woo.
加油加油！对。
And again, transparent chassis mode comes to the rescue. I have no idea where we're going. I'm just driving using cameras. This is the fun thing about the Tank 300. Capable off-roader. And in case you can't see through all the bulges and the and then the white body, is that the cameras always tell you where the car is positioned. So yeah, nice.
OK.
All right. So the good thing about being Malaysian is that we understand multiple languages, and a couple of Mandarin speaking ex-girlfriends always help you.
We will open the door showing you that the capable of the chassis is.
OK。哦，出来了一下。
Sorry. Then, you want to open?
太快了。
So I'm driving up a bunch of stairs now. This should be fun. Never did this. All my years riding mountain bikes and motorcycles has come in handy. And so basically, in conclusion, fun off-roader. The obstacle course was super easy. Of course, it's a very capable off-roader. A bunch of technologies, a very stiff chassis, providing us all the control that we needed. So convinced, yes, through the obstacle course, but now unfortunately we won't be able to drive it off-road. But I would just like to highlight that sitting in here, the engine running, 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, you don't feel it inside here. So the NVH levels, quite impressive. Now let's go see what else they have in store. Alright guys, so now we are driving off-road. This is a first chance to actually feel the power delivery of the car. Before this, we were on an obstacle course to show the off-roading capabilities of the vehicle. Right now, we are also driving off-road, but this is our first proper opportunity to actually indulge in its powertrain. So 227 horsepower, about 350 to 380 Newton meters of torque. And because we're off-roading, so we are relying on this camera quite a bit. The invincible invincible chassis. It's basically a 360-degree camera that shows us everything that is happening around the car, and somehow it's also figured out how to show us underneath the car. And the most important thing about cameras is the definition of it. So what I'm seeing over here is a very high definition camera, a clear screen. I can basically drive this car by just looking at the screens over here, and that is quite good, especially if you are, one of those off-roading kakis. So right now we are in two-wheel drive mode. So there you go. I just confirmed that the system is called a transparent chassis. So that is what I was telling you about earlier. It shows us what's underneath the car. And I can also confirm that I have 387 Newton meters of torque under my right foot. one thing I like about this car is that you have pedal shifters, so which means that you are able to shift gears manually, so which comes in handy if you are off-roading, of course. And right now we are going through basically heavy sand, thick sand, some very much like that of a beach. Yeah. So the point over here is when you're dealing with very thick sand, you really don't want to slow down too much, otherwise you're gonna get stuck. Right now we are on all-terrain tires, so which is quite okay, and hence modulating the throttle and such just make sure that the car doesn't bog down. And the other nice thing that I really like is that the 8-speed gearbox is silky smooth. You don't really feel it shifting, and that's one of the refinement levels of this car. As I've said earlier, the refinement levels of this car is already hugely impressive. Power delivery is almost near instantaneous, and even though we are driving off-road, there's no real need to reduce the tire pressure of this car, of the tires that we are running on, the all-terrain tires that I was mentioning. But it's basically a capable off-roader right out of the box, which not many cars can say. So right now it's a blind left-hander, just relying right on the cameras. Easy stuff. It's a bit of a pity that we can't really drive these cars on the road, but from what I was a passenger earlier, from what I felt earlier, the refinement levels in this car, the noise, you don't really hear anything, vibrations is basically non-existent. Awesome. So we may not be able to drive the Tank 300 on the road, but we've certainly been driven around quite a bit. Anyway, this is a good chance to actually tell you that the refinement levels in this car is seriously impressive. From what I can feel, actually, as soon as he puts his foot down, well, there's a gentle shove in the back, and there's a linear top curve that he just seems to ride out. But anyway, that's just from what I can see. What I can definitely feel though is absolutely nothing. The suspension soaks up everything very nicely. The refinement levels is, as I've said, impressive. Gear shifts are almost non-existent. So that's very impressive coming from that 8-speed transmission. Gotta say that it's a bit of a pity that we cannot drive this car on the road here in China, but from what I can feel, the refinement levels and power delivery of the Tank 300 is impressive, to say the least. The GWM Tank 300, obviously a very capable off-roader, as we have experienced today. I wish that we had some time to drive it on road, but unfortunately we do not. But let's take some time to actually just appreciate the design of the car. It looks really good in this orange as well. A very classic off-roader design. As I've said earlier on in this video, this is the design that you would get if the Mercedes-Benz G-Class, the Suzuki Jimny, as well as the Mahindra Thar actually had an affair. So it's not a bad thing. It's a very good looking car. It's very tough. This bulges look good. I really like this. LED daytime running lights, it's very original. This tough muscular front bumper looks really good as well. And then you get about 243 millimeters of ground clearance at the bottom, about 700 millimeters of water wading depth. That's just frankly quite amazing. From the back as well, I really like cars that have this side hinge. It looks, of course, it's not very practical if you're going to be parked in a car park of a shopping mall, but it looks really good. It's a throwback to how Jeeps used to be in the early days, 80s and 90s. If you're thinking there's no spare wheel, fret not, the spare wheel is actually at the back there, just like they were in the good old days. Now, I don't have any information of how big the boot space actually is, but as you can see, it's spacious. I do, however, can say that I wish there was a tonneau cover, but judging by these hooks over here, that's probably going to be an aftermarket accessory or something. I do, however, really like this 3-pin plug. That makes camping quite easy. Now, I just got to say this, that despite the fact that the spare wheel is mounted onto the door, the tailgate, the rear view camera is mounted here, which means that it could potentially get quite complicated if you spring a flat tire. So anyway, let's just take a moment. As I've mentioned earlier on in this video, the Mercedes-Benz influence is very, very clear to see. All you G-Class owners and Mercedes-Benz owners, you all will definitely recognize this stitching, these controls, this aluminium pedals, this air conditioning vent. You all recognize this. Even this font on the start-stop button, the vertical dashboard, these dials over here, these buttons, everything is very Mercedes-Benz. Even the way it turns on, opens and closes, very Mercedes-Benz. There's dual screens over here. You get even it's basically said that is just very, very Mercedes-Benz in here. Anyway, how much will it cost? Now, considering the fact that it costs about 220,000 ringgit in Thailand, we don't have any confirmation about how much it'll cost in the Malaysian market, but you can expect it to cost somewhere close or even beyond the 200,000 ringgit region. Let me know what you think about the GWM Tank 300. Thank you for watching. Do consider subscribing.